Okay, great. Thanks for staying all the way for today. So this is panel 7. I am Wan Wei, and I'm so thrilled today to be here and to meeting everyone here. And let me just go one round of introduction to our panelists who will make their introduction respectively. Anta, maybe we'll start with you.
Thank you. Hello, guys. My full name is Gede Putu Rahman Desyanta. So that's a Balinese name because I'm a Balinese. People call me Gede Anta or Anta. I am the coordinator of Bali Blockchain Centers. This is the government-based blockchain laboratoriums in Denpasar City, and the CEO of Baliola and also the founders of Mandala Chain.
Awesome. Okay, let's go to the next gentleman, the mysterious gentleman, Zeph.
Hi, I'm Zeth. I'm the founder of Ordz Games. We're the first GameFi project on Bitcoin Ordinals, launched in March, and we're also one of the earliest BRC-20 tokens with a utility, in-game utility called the OG token, which was inscribed 6 days after BRC-20s came to be. And we've launched 4 seasons of video games on-chain on Bitcoin. And right now we are building Bitcoin's first gaming console. That's a physical device that you can hold in your hand on Bitcoin Ordinals. And really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. How about Ting Song?
My name is Ting Song. Nama saya Ting. A Bahasa learner since 19 years old. Meanwhile, I'm a crypto and AI artist. Last year, my AI film NFT won over 23 Global Film Festival awards on 13 countries. And last year, my NFT got collected by Venezuela National Museum, made me the first and the only crypto artist now collected by a National Museum of the world. That's it.
That's so impressive. I'm like super inspired by that. Okay, let's go on to Arthur.
GM, everyone. Welcome all the survivors from this Ordinals Summit.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, I mean, so I think Web3 is unconventional, asymmetrical, and also I think Ordinals is the elite. So I was the Special Forces Commander for 12 years, and now I am the founder of Giants Planet. We are bringing real value and real assets onto the chain. We want to empower people to live anywhere around the world in the most conducive environment to build. So we bring all these real assets like real estate, food, all the services to convenience of the digital natives. So that's Giants Plan.
Thank you so much, panelists. I'm really thankful to be on this panel today with so many amazing panelists because this is a very diverse panelist and it really showcases the power and the use cases of Ordinals. So let's go on to the first question. On creators, right? How can artists and creators better leverage this new space, like the elite, to explore new forms of artistic expression? Maybe Ting Song would like to start.
Yeah, I have to say thanks to Zaz because I'm going to share 3 points with you today. The first is about like Zaz did the hardware. Can you show me again to make it more fun of it? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's it. For the first part, actually in my eyes, Bitcoin native NFT creation is more geeky and more crypto native needed. So if we could do some Renaissance things on Bitcoin, which will attract more nerdy geeks, that's not an active word, to the Bitcoin-based NFT creation, which I do admire. For the second part is, I mint all of my AI themes and NFTs poster on Bitcoin. One day, when I was in Beijing and hanging out with guys, having some dinner, an idea occurred to us that why there's no possibility for some performance artists like Uno, yeah, one of the best, is a very extraordinary woman. And why not we do some brand new things instead of only on Ethereum? We put it on Bitcoin, like when it comes to performance art, it's about one moment's feeling. Why there's no like on-chain, like no B-man's friends. we build some moments, especially on Bitcoin's transaction, and all the computing power will be in memory of your love or your creation. For the third part is I bought a lot of Balinese painting, oil painting, physical world. So in my eyes, in Bitcoin, there should be something happened between like combining the physical world and digital world, especially our Asia's traditional culture. How beautiful it is that we may find something instead of the North American market dominating Ether and NFT ecosystems. What is beauty? No, that's a brand new word. So for the crypto artists who are full of ambitious goals to create something new and unique and to be who you really are, I think Bitcoin NFT is one of the best way. So that's it.
Thank you so much for your insights. Anyone like to add anything else on creativity and being, the human spirit?
Yeah,
Zach?
just to echo what Ting just talked about, because we were talking about this together back. This is months ago, like half a year ago, almost. And part of the reason why we had this conversation, why I engaged with Ting to talk about Ordinals, was coming into the ecosystem and looking at very successful projects like DGOS and Yuga Labs 12-fold. One realization that dawned on me was NFTs or Ordinals is very much about culture. And there is a unique cultural aspect within the Web3 space, within different blockchain ecosystems, and BTC in particular has this very unique, very OG aspect. And one keyword you mentioned was nerdy, right? Well, that's why we go back retro. A lot of the themes that people were playing off of, the ethos or the aesthetic were very retro. And I think the culture is what brings people together, right? You might be bringing in a sub-segment of a sub-segment initially, but gradually that rolls into a snowball and it draws in more and more people because your culture or your vibe that you're bringing to the table is interesting and appealing to a lot of people. And that's very similar with artists, and how artists bring their thoughts and ideas and philosophies to the table. So that's why I think Bitcoin Ordinals is a great playground for artists to come in and explore and to put in their thoughts and ideas forever inscribed on chain onto Bitcoin and in an immutable kind of way. And that's what makes it really valuable and fun.
Thank you so much.
So I want to add it a little bit. I will tell the story how it's happening. There is in Bali, there is a Bali Blockchain Center that the first time we're starting on 2020 when the COVID is hitting Bali, and Bali is like in Indonesia, it's really like punch us in the face directly, this COVID. And the one part that is really getting impact with the COVID is the artists. When the people is coming around the world to come to Bali, they're just putting their artwork in front of their house, and then the tourists will buy it. But there is no one come. So the artists don't get like a revenue stream where they go. If they selling on digital, people can just right click and they save it. So what? And then this is one thing that we're doing a research with the government, and we going to every single house of the artists, let's find out what is you doing and everything. And we find out there's some of people that's coming out overseas into Bali, and they ask the artists to creating artwork, 30 artwork every single week. Only pay like 30 million rupiah, it's not dollars, rupiah. And we just find out they sell it on NFTs. And the artists kind of
Successful, I remember the record.
yeah, and then the problem is the artists don't get anything, just that 30 millions, that's all. But they got like a lot of money after that. So with the government, we have a vision. We need to introducing them about NFTs. We need to introducing them about the new space on the blockchain that can help them thus. Like, it's not about telling them to coming to Bali. It's like, we coming to the world. This is the first idea we're doing. And we introducing them about NFTs, about blockchain, about everything. But yeah, this is the first thing they heard about it, and we got kicked out from the artists. But when everything is going on, and then I figure out about the NFTs itself, it's still like one thing is not so sophisticated. But when I learned about ordinals, this is something else. This is not like like ordinary NFTs. This is directly like you print it on the Satoshis. This is different thing. So with this kind of technology, I think our artists will get a lot of space. The problem in Bali is how the artists don't have a good market or a good place to channel to showing and selling to outside of Bali also and touch the community of Bitcoin. So this is the problem that we have. So we hope that Ordinals can be one of our way to do that.
That's really inspiring in the sense that it really affects the livelihoods of so many people. So how about yourself, Arthur? Because you are dealing with real-world assets. So we are curious about how you think Ordinals can affect communities and real-world assets. What are your opinions?
I think apart from Ordinals, the whole NFT crypto art itself is expression, right, of being unconventional. We are all here because we are unconventional in some way, because we do not conform with what the traditional world, right, is not working. We will face the reality. I think that there's a better way to do certain things. That's why there are certain gaps, and we are creating or building certain solutions. And that is a kind of like a mindset of being unconventional. Artists themselves are also very unconventional because they need to have that creative mindset, right? And art itself brings so many communities together, all right? Yes. It was the last bull run, right, that you saw the NFTs and so much community come and go, some are still staying around. So I think communities are united because of this expression of these like-minded people where they could relate themselves to a certain form of art. And when the creator is creating this form of art, there is a certain ideology or a culture or a spirit that is trying to express through their art. So I think that is the element that is able to unite people together. And I think Ordinals is just another form of inscribing. To me, I shared it before in the last Twitter spaces that I think Ordinals is like tattoo onto the blockchain space inscription. All right, so it's a little bit more sexy, a little bit more elite because it's like, inscription is not just on a smart contract. Yeah.
That's a really excellent point. I just realized that there's this common thread in whatever we have shared currently that is really about the human spirit and about creativity and expression, right? So my question here, I'm just really curious offhand, is that have you ever faced any barriers or like pushback from the artistic community when you are growing the ecosystem, for example? Or, okay, Ting Song first, maybe?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Two, I will share with you. The first will be that when I want to mint my award-winning AI themes on Bitcoin, I found out that Unisat, where is Lorenzo? Like several KB. So there's not enough space for me to cultivate my theme on Bitcoin. For the second is that when we were, me and Zaz were talking about that I want to build Krama in Cambodia, Sin in Laos, and Badik in Indonesia, and some Miao ethnic group and Bai ethnic group in Yunnan province. All the fabrics, the beautiful traditional fabrics, together into a 3D interactive Bitcoin on-chain artworks. The first problem we are facing now is that no 3.js libraries is supported by the whole Ordinals community, I mean the developing field. So in my perspective, we are all in need of a lot of infrastructure building. One is technological, the other one is science popularity for the community expanding. That's my opinions on that.
Got it. Arthur?
One of the biggest barrier, I think, is my co-founder. So my co-founder is one of the top artists in the world, top 50, body painter, right? He has exhibitions across the world, right? He hated NFT art because generally it's not unique, right? It's not a true expression. It's like it's mass production, it's too commercialized. So it was a really hard time getting Giants Planet started because he's not convinced about, making good art, with the restrictions of 4 MB, all right? And in a short period of time, all right, or go to market. So the first design that we have, the Giants Planet 8, it sucks. Yeah, it is on our Twitter, it's up there, right? It really sucks. And you know, it's very awkward, you know, because he's a top artist, right? It's like, hey, bro, why so, you know, bad? And it's like, this is what it is, right? So it took us a long time to convince him that, you know, what we want to build, to communicate and align with him, and then we had this amazing design that we got, you know, sold out, totally oversubscribed, you know, in 90 minutes. So I think really about aligning the mindset and educating, you know, top artists, creative minds, of how do we balance the creativity and commercialization, all right, to be able to empower the greater masses. So I think it's to look beyond, like a lot of people in the Web3 space, right? We need to slightly further, like beyond the immediate. Yeah, so I think that is something that we need to align with a lot more creators so that we can have a lot more great quality art coming into this space.
Thanks for sharing. How about Anta? I'm sure Bali, there will be so many cases of, you know, please share.
Okay, so I will speak because I'm not an artist, basically. I'm a dancer, Balinese dancer. But for in what we have experience, there is, in Bali, we're not only talking about the artists that understand digital art. We're talking about painters. We're talking about sculptors. We're talking about graffiti artists. We're talking about tattoo artists. So when we coming there and seeing all the artists there, have still, the barrier is the misunderstanding between cryptocurrency and the blockchain itself. So they still, when I'm saying Bitcoin, they say, oh, Bitcoin is so hype. There is the barrier. They are really afraid because something is go up suddenly and then go down suddenly. So they are still thinking there is it the real thing? This is something, or, you know, this is what has happened there. So we are trying to giving them the safe place, educating them about, because the initial why the government of Denpasar city trying to putting blockchain as the second biggest industry in Bali, we creating that way. That's why we creating the government creating a big building to us, and we're creating event, educate people and everything over there. So they want you putting the technology of blockchain as the back of copyright for the artists, because we have a lot of art and culture. Every inch in Bali is art. So if you come there, in the house, it's art. Is even the people say there is even Balinese bread is art. Yes, absolutely. We have how we bread. We have the Parananayama technique in games, basically in art also. So we are focused on how to protecting our culture, how to protecting our art, and how to protecting all of the resourcing, the people, the creating, the people that creating everything. Because when we go into digital, nothing is protecting us. So blockchain, Bitcoin, this is like the way to do that. It's just need to landing it safely to them, because they need to understand how this technology, or what is the potential of this technology implement to protecting what they is creating.
Thanks so much. I literally got chills because, like, I love Bali, and, you know, it's great to see art and culture flourish because of the blockchain. So thanks for that. Okay, so let's talk about what's next for the Ordinals ecosystem. So each panelist, maybe you can share, like, what do you think comes next, and like maybe with Bitcoin halving next year, and also beyond that. Maybe Dev, you want to start first?
Yeah, sure. So I want to echo a little bit of the last question first, because when I look at artists come into the ecosystem, right? One thing that I often and this applies to the gaming side as well. When a lot of game developers come in to Web3 and develop games, is the culture within Web3. It sometimes could be very toxic in a sense, right? Because these assets are tradable on a secondary market, and you see prices going up and down every single day, and prices are heavily influenced by coin and token prices, which are in turn influenced by macroeconomy and US interest rates and all that. So it gets very complicated for a normal collector or investor to understand all the complexity. And you can think of Ordinals as a leveraged version of Bitcoin, and then you can think of a particular collection as a leveraged version of an Ordinal. So the asset prices here can fluctuate hugely. You get higher highs and lower lows, and it drives emotions in people's minds, right? With traditional artwork, there's no secondary market that people see every single day on the screen. You don't track that. You don't look at it, morning, afternoon. So people are a lot calmer when they buy a traditional piece of art, right? And because there's active secondary market, there are a lot of flippers and traders within the ecosystem. And you will get people who come into your community because of instant communication, talk to you about price levels, right? When they think of a successful collection, well, it's expensive and it only goes up. And that creates a lot of pressure on creators, artists, and developers and I've heard of many people leaving the ecosystem because of that sort of toxic culture. So I think that's why building a strong community is so important. You want to select the people who understand your mission and who believe in your mission to stick with it longer term, and who are willing to put up not placing a bet, but actually buying a piece of art or asset that they appreciate and want to collect long term. So I think that will come with time. So going back to your question, what's happening next with Ordinals? Besides everything that I heard today from the other panels, I think the infrastructure side is exploding, right? We have so many great builders today, and after this panel, I know we have a special guest coming who are going to talk more about that. That's giving me so much confidence that this ecosystem is here to stay. It's going to be infinitely more open and free and interesting to build on going forward. But at the same time, it's going to be drawing in more people mature enough to understand the nuances and how this market actually works, to not make stupid bets, but to actually understand how the market works and to grow with it longer term. And that's my hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zev. How about Ting Song?
A better balance between the prices and the culture itself, and the native persistence of our crypto people and the outside world than Ethereum ecosystem.
Thank you. Arthur?
I do think that going forward, the Ordinals is like the elite of the Web3 space, right? Compared to all the other NFT collections out there. It's very prestige, it's very niche, there's a small and tight community. So this group of people will defend the Ordinals, all right? And they will also spread it. And I think the key thing is that it will bring about scarcity. So I think it will be very premium, right? In the crypto space, all right? There will be distribution. There will be projects that come in, but they will not be able to sustain. They will not be able to fight with the projects that's already been established. So I think it's going to get a higher barrier of entry, right? Because the community is going to be very tight and they have very strong beliefs, right, in how the Ordinal should be. Another angle is, I think, from those successful projects, a lot more value will be incorporated, like what we're doing, real-world assets, sort of membership, decentralized ID, something like a little bit like a soulbound token, form of like in the Bitcoin protocol. Yeah, so these are the few key areas that I think will be driving the Ordinals trends. Thank you.
Anta?
Okay, so I will not talking about the technology, but because one thing that I understand about this is, in terms of artists, what we are seeing the artists is we have a lot of like traditional artists, painters, mugs, sculptures, So there is a lot of things. So the next thing that I'm focusing is how implementing the technology on the real world asset. I mean the real art. How we putting it? How we combining the real asset, like for example the real painting, to the Ordinals, and like open the market to the artists, but still protecting the copyright and still like having, even though they're like traditional painters, they can go. Because if the blockchain technology only exclusively for digital artists only, I think there's no point to discussing about this. But if we can like collaborate, it's not only about digital artists, it's about every art. They can come into this technology, it will be like mind-blowing. The mass adoption will be going there. So we just signed an agreement with or ZAR yesterday, and we are trying to explore how we can combining this. And we also have a research now with one of ceramic painters that collaborate with the ministry now to how to putting like a real ceramics, painting it, and we putting also in on NFTs or on the ordinals. So this is how we are thinking now to doing. Maybe this is need to be focused on ordinal space also. It's not only about technology, but how the implementing the technology is the real one that we need to do also.
Thank you so much, Anta. Okay, this concludes panel 7. Thank you so much to our amazing panelists. So warm applause for them. And also congratulations to the collaboration yesterday that was signed. So please visit their Twitter to support them. And thank you so much for staying until the end of today.